Hi everyone! Today on this episode of Miss Janice Tells History, I'll be telling you the incredible true story of the Ouija board escape, how two prisoners of war fooled their guards in the Ottoman Empire during World War One. But before we get into the episode, I'd like to thank my sponsor, VDS, for their invaluable support. Today I'm going to tell you one of the strangest escape stories from the First World War. It's about two prisoners of war in the Ottoman Empire who used a Ouija board to trick their guards and escape. Now, a Ouija board is a flat board with letters, numbers, and yes and no written on it. People place their fingers on a small pointer and it seems to move to spell messages from the spirits. Of course, in this case, it was all a trick. Our protagonists are Elias Henry Jones from Wales, very clever. He spoke several languages, he studied psychology in Oxford, and his mate Cedric Waters Hill, a pilot from Australia. He didn't study at uni, but he was really creative and good at making things. So far in class, we've talked about three fronts: the Western Front, France and Belgium, the Eastern Front, Russia and Eastern Europe, and the Home Front, life back home. But there was also a Middle Eastern front, which we don't talk about much. It's like the forgotten theater of the war. Here, the Ottoman Empire fought alongside Germany and Austria-Hungary against the British, the French, the Russians, and their allies. During this time, something terrible happened: the Armenian Genocide from 1915 to 1917. Armenian people were forced to leave their homes, they were starved, they were killed, and entire communities were destroyed. This changed the population and politics in the region, and it also affected how the war played out there. So it was in this context that our two protagonists found themselves imprisoned. They weren't literally locked, because the prison didn't even have locked doors, but there was nowhere to run. They were in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by mountains. You could walk for days and still find nothing but more mountains. Life there was painfully boring. Day after day, nothing happened. So at first, Jones and Hill made the Ouija board just for fun, something to pass the time. They started playing, pretending to contact spirits. Jones, being clever and well educated, quickly memorized exactly where each letter was on the board. He used that knowledge to control the messages from the other side. And then, during one of these pretend seances, a spirit announced that there was a treasure buried somewhere in the sand, not far from the camp. Jones kept the story going, inventing more and more details, and before long, the guards were hooked. The guards became obsessed. Imagine officers and guards huddled together, hands on board, following the spirit's directions. Weeks passed. The guards dug and dug. No treasure, but the spirits kept insisting it was closed. While the guards were busy hunting for gold, Jones and Hill started their real escape plan. They pretended to go insane. They started to act strangely, refused to eat, shouted at invisible people. After weeks of this, the Ottoman authorities believed them, and they were sent to a hospital in Constantinople, the capital, and later released. They were sent home before the war ended. All thanks to an imaginary treasure and a fake Ouija board. Jones and Hill's plan worked because they understood people's weaknesses. Boredom can make people believe strange things. Greed can make people take risks. And superstition can be more powerful than reason. This story shows that war isn't always about battles. Sometimes, many times, it's about brains, creativity, and knowing how to play the long game. Thanks for listening to Miss Janice Tells History. I hope you enjoyed this journey into one of the most unusual escapes of the First World War. If you're one of my students, share what you learned with your family. And if you're listening from somewhere else, I'm glad you could join our classroom today. Bye bye.